Hi, Year 12. What I decided to do is make a video of using Excel. So this first video is going to be what we did yesterday as far as setting up a sheet. And then I'll do a second very short one on how to do turn that into a graph. Now, so remember what we need to do is go open up Excel and then choose a blank workbook. And now what I'm doing is I'm reproducing that spreadsheet that we had in the OneNote. So the first thing I'm going to do is just come up here up on the A. You can see as I move my mouse around, it changes different shapes. If I get up there and come across here, that lets me drag it wider, which hopefully is going to let me able to fit these things in. So I'm typing in purchase cost. I'm just typing on, clicking on the cell first and then typing. Declining balance percentage, and then we've got straight line depreciation amount. All right, so I've typed them in. I'm going to make sure they're wide enough so that they fit inside one cell, otherwise it becomes a bit tricky. Okay, so what I'm going to do as well though is I'm going to just type in next to it so we know what with our formula. I'm just going to type in brackets what they are, so that one was V0. To make it even clearer, I'm going to turn that into a subscript. So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to come here to font. I'm going to go subscript V0. Okay. The declining balance percentage, that is a little r. Now I need to put a bracket, a space between the bracket and the r. If you don't, it'll turn into when you put equal, it'll turn into some sort of little recommended type thing. And then my straight line depreciation amount, if you remember, that in our formula was a capital D. Okay, so I'll put that in there as well. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go D, and I'm going to go equals as well, because if you remember, most of the time it might give it to us. If we need to calculate it, if you remember, in this case, it is V0 times that R, if we've got our, so again, I'm going to change that to a subscript. And that's just going to remind me what's going in these, or tell me what variable I'm going to put in these cells. Okay, so I might also just go times R. Oops. So to make it really clear, V0 times R. All right, it's D though. We're probably going to be given D. Okay, D is the amount. If we need to work out the amount D, then D is equal to V0 times R. Now it's told me to put into B5, so I'm going to find B5. It's said to type in their year. So I'm typing in year. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to click on, I'm going to put a 0 in, and I'm going to put a 1 in, the one underneath. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that formula down. So I'm going to click on there, hold my mouse down, grab both, come across here until I get to this little corner and get this dark one. Click down my left mouse to drag it, take it down there 5 and let it go. All right, now the next thing, I'm just dragging that wider. I've got straight line value is my heading. And a bracket and a dollar sign to tell me that that is my unit. And in this one, I have got declining balance value. Same thing, dollar signs. All right. Now, what I'm going to do here above it is I'm going to put the formulas there so I know what formula I'm actually putting in. So, straight line value, remember our formula, S, the salvage value, is equal to V0 times, I'm going to use, V0 minus D, N, D times N, where N is our number of years. Now what I've noticed is that each year I'm just going 1 year at a time. So over here I'm just going to put a little reminder for myself that N is equal to 1, and that's going to be for everything. It's going to turn that into a subscript. You certainly don't need to go to that amount of OCD. All right. And now this formula for declining balance value, S equals V naught, and then it was times, so I'm going to use that times as well, and then in bracket 1 minus R. Now it was to the power of, so I'm going to put a formula in here. I'm going to use the, and so they put in the power, that's a tilde, which is above your 6. I'm going to put in there N. Okay, so that's the actual formula. But what I'll notice is N equals 1. So you can put that in down here if you want. But because N equals 1, then 1 minus R to the power of N to the power of 1 is just 1 minus R. Okay, so coming down here, what I might do just to make things a bit clearer is I'm going to put in the values for that first question, 17, in your OneNote. It says a hot value water system is purchased for $19,900. Right, 19,900. It tells me the declining balance percentage. Well, let me keep reading the question. The straight line depreciation amount is 3,700. So that goes down here, my D, straight line depreciation amount, 3,700. Now it's giving it to me, so I haven't got a calculator. I'm just going to put that in. And then it says the declining balance percentage is 30%. 30% is 0.3. And what I'm going to do is I am going to drag on those, come up here and make them red, so I know they're the numbers that we enter. Now over here, the original value in year 0 is equal to V naught. So now when I put this, I'm going to put it as equals. So put an equals in there, and then just, if we click on it, it'll put the address of that in there for us. Push enter. It's the same for our first year, equal. Up here, click on it, and then enter. Now my formula now I'm putting in, this is straight line value, so this is my formula. I need S, so that's what's going to be in there, equals. So I need my equals, V naught. Now I've just put V naught in here after year 0. So I'm going to click on that. And then I need minus D times N. Now N is 1. So I'm just going to put in minus D. Now D is up here at 3,000 in this cell here. Click on it and then push enter. Now what my next year after that, if I was putting that in, it would be S equals V at the beginning of the period. That would be equal to this one, equals that value there, and then it's going to be minus, and it would be minus that D again. So I can, if I want to, type all of those in as I go, but if I've got a lot, it's a lot to do. So I'll be better off dragging it down like I did over here. Now when I drag it down, what you'll see is, if we do it, is it all goes haywire. And the reason for that is when we drag it, we increase the row number. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to increase the row number of the one in C, of this value here, but we wanted to keep our straight line value the same. So the way to fix that is to come back here and then click between the B and the 3 and put your $sign, which will freeze the number in that particular one at 3. This one, because there's no $sign, as we drag, will go 7, 8, 9. This one, because the $sign will stay at 3. So if I come back there and drag that, I'll find that all works. If I come over here, I want to put that formula in, equals V naught. V naught is this one here, time. So shift and the 8, that symbol there, put my bracket in, 1 minus R. Now R is over here. Click on that, close my bracket, enter. I don't need to put the to the power of N, because N is equal to 1. If I wanted to, I'd have to type somewhere N and then put the 1 there and click on it. I can leave it out. So now what I want to do is, we know already that we want to freeze that one. So let's come up and put our $sign in there, and then we'll grab it and drag it down. Okay, so now we've actually done 17A, we've done it. Okay, so what we can do there is just to show, so they're the first 5 years. That was year 5, the value after year 5 for both of them, if that's our question. Otherwise, in our table, we've got all of the values after 3 years, after 4 years, after 5 years, etc. Okay, so now I'm going to stop this one and do a new video with graphing.